Hello and welcome to this video on bringing SWOOD furniture into SOLIDWORKS Visualize. In this video we'll cover both what you need to remember to do before bringing the project in, and then once it is actually in Visualize. We will review the best import settings, how to control wood grain in the entire model, but also on individual panels and edge bands, how to bring in extra objects to enhance your project, and how to ground your model with different scenes, flooring and lights. If you are unaware, SWOOD is a furniture partner product of SOLIDWORKS, where one of the segments is SWOOD Design, which allows you to quickly and easily make wooden designs. If you want to know more about this, please check out the SWOOD Furniture playlist on our website. Most of the things I go over here will be useful even if you don't have SWOOD. However, the add-in does make it very quick and easy to bring products into Visualize due to the material management that comes with it. Without further ado, first of all let's jump into SOLIDWORKS. As you can see, the desk has a number of panels, all with edge bands, connectors and drawers, all in different part files and sub-assemblies due to how SWOOD works. The first thing to do, which you would have already done while making the project, is to make sure the wood grain is going in the right direction. Although this can be changed in Visualize later, you don't want your SWOOD report to be incorrect. On this desk I have done this with laminates, and therefore I will change the direction of these. The same can be done for each of the panels we have. The other thing we have to think about at this stage is whether you're going to create an exploded view in Visualize. If you are not going to show the connectors in any renders, it would be worth suppressing them in SOLIDWORKS. Connectors are often small, detailed parts with lots of little faces. Suppressing these can save a lot of polygons that the software has to work out, therefore saving open and render times. Once you have done this, the best thing to do is to take the project into New Assembly, ready to take into Visualize. Although not strictly necessary, this allows you to reorientate the model and make sure the top level assembly's top plane is parallel with the bottom plane of the model. Depending on how you modelled it, it may be at an angle such as this desk. Although you can rotate this in Visualize, you don't have mates like you do in SOLIDWORKS. You only have values that you can change, and therefore it is easier to sort out in SOLIDWORKS before bringing the file into Visualize. Another benefit of this is you can add extra models into this file that are only needed for the render and not actually needed for manufacture. Depending on your template, the final thing you need to do is to make sure the image quality is set to high. The reason you need to do this is for curved parts, especially if you're going to zoom in on them, because otherwise the parts will look very tessellated. The image quality in SOLIDWORKS will be taken through to the image quality in Visualize for SOLIDWORKS parts. Now we are ready to bring this into Visualize. Before opening the file, I will just show you that I have created a template for my SWOOD projects. If I select File, New, it will open an empty project, but it will have an environment in it which is different from the default project. I normally use this interior scene for my furniture design as it gives me a nice warm lighting. If you can't find an appropriate environment in the library, you can download these from places such as HDRI Haven and simply drop them into your library. I also have some cameras set up. I could even add in things like models that I'm going to use to import and put on my furniture. If I save this as a project, in my options I can then set this as my default project, which means that I get a good consistency between my projects and do not have to keep bringing things in like the scenes and the parts. So let's import the model. In the import settings, select Automatic. This will separate out all the panels but merge the same appearances together. I'm normally just bring in the appearances and geometry and add cameras, scenes and decals in Visualize instead of using the SOLIDWORKS ones. Once imported, I'm going to change the wood texture. Although okay, Visualize allows more control of more advanced appearances. Instead of the dark wood, I'm going to use a seamless texture of finished oak. As a side note, always ignore the name of the texture or appearance. Although a good guide, rendering is all about what it looks like, and therefore try a few random woods. For instance, a teak may be more what you're after than an oak, even though in reality you would use an oak laminate. Wood appearances also come in as a generic appearance, which gives us many options but makes it hard to control. I will change this to plastic and then set the index of refraction to 1.05 to get a little light entering the appearance, and set the roughness to 5 to make sure the refraction of the light is scattered. I will then copy and paste this onto any of the other panels that haven't got the updated appearance, using Shift left click to copy and Shift right click to paste. The reason why these weren't included in the main appearance was that they must have had a tiny difference in their SOLIDWORKS appearance settings. You do have control of the grain directly in Visualize as well. To change this, you must go to the texture mapping and select on one of the panels. Change this from UV to box mapping, and then you can see you have scaling and rotation and position values, which can be changed for each panel that the appearance is applied to. If we wanted to show a drawer opening, we just need to group the panels together by selecting them either in the graphics area or in the feature tree and adding them to a new group. We can then easily use the object manipulation tool to pull the drawer open. We can then sort out the appearances inside the drawer. If, for example, this drawer runner is one part, but you want to apply different appearances to different sections of the part, you can use the split tool to cut up your model. Just a warning about this will be undone if you re-import your model, and therefore the best practice is to actually do it in SOLIDWORKS by applying a different colour onto the body at that stage. We can then finish the desk off with any other appearances to other parts such as the knobs and inserts. This is looking okay, but to really show the desk off, it is often nice to have some extra models that interact with your furniture designs. These can either be models that you have designed in SOLIDWORKS like the angle poised lamp, or even files like these lilies which have a OBJ format. Models like these are good for non-engineered parts such as flowers that other programs are more inept at creating than SOLIDWORKS. They can also include standard appearances that are imported with the model, so you don't have to do any more work. To move this around with object manipulation tool, it can be beneficial to view 4 orthographic viewports rather than just having to rotate. If you import similar parts over and over again to different projects, you can import these into a project file, add the appearances, and then just import these projects into the current project. For things like this person that was created in DAZ Studio, exported as an OBJ and then imported into Visualize and sat on the chair, this can be a good way to show the scale of the desk. The final part that we shall add is the floor, so we can add the carpet texture. Obviously you could do this in SOLIDWORKS, but you can also add primitive shapes straight into Visualize from the Project, Models, New Model menu. Scale this up and make sure it is not exactly on the floor, otherwise you'll get hashed graphics issue. Move the other parts up to sit on this floor and add a carpet texture such as the carpet weave. In this case, the appearance includes an alpha channel to fade the carpet out at the sides as well. In Visualize Standard, the environment is the only place you can control the lighting, but in Visualize Professional, we have photometric lights. We can add these extra lights to get sharper shadows and highlight different sections of the model. The final thing to do is set up your cameras. We can create multiple cameras with different focal lengths and orientations and then render these all at the same time. Alternatively, we could use SOLIDWORKS Visualize Professional and export an interactive image so a viewer can see the whole way around the model in one file. Thank you for watching, and if you would like to know anything more about SWOOD Design or SOLIDWORKS Visualize Professional, give us a call or check out some of the other webcasts.